you're basically dealing with a character who had schizophrenia,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Not schizophrenia. It's more multiple personality disorder.
Okay.
So he's got these other egos, alter egos in there's one known case who has about 24 or 40 different people, and you actually become those different people, and whoever you're becoming won't know, your original character. You also won't know. When you become that, you become that. It's a very...
The thing is, so, and knowing how intensely you dive into characters, I would want to know about any aspect of sadness in your mind, one during that aparijit phase of your life, and then in your whole career, in terms of sadness. That's the other thing they say about artists.
Yeah.
That artists have a habit of holding on to sadness because
Yeah.
it creates some level of art within their heart, which then they can present to the world.
Definitely.
Can you talk to me a little bit about sadness?
Sadness. Let me say, I've told you already, like from my third, I've been very like obsessed with becoming an actor and just searching for a larger audience, from like 20 students to like 500 the whole school, then the girls' school, and then you have only Tamil Nadu, and like I get into movies and Tamil Nadu, and then suddenly Andhra, and then rest of India, and it's always like that. But to get there, I had a lot of roadblocks, in the sense, I did a play once called Black Comedy by Peter Schaffer, and it was an IIT. And what is interesting is it's about a play that, you start in total darkness. Like it's total darkness and you're just walking around. It's a comedy. And suddenly the lights come on and we do ulta. It's like, oh shit, the lights have gone. And then the whole play is with the lights on, but we are in darkness. And there he's having an affair with two girls, and then one of them is rich and her father is a military officer, and blah, blah, blah. And it's a comedy of errors and it's so funny. So, but what happened is, because it was darkness and it's a college, right? So like they were like, what the hell's going on? And after the first 2 minutes, they started booing. Like, we are not from that college. We were visiting. They started booing and it went on and it got very bad. 10 minutes and we are still dark. And then slowly, like the lights were coming on, and then by then half the audience like started saying shh, while the other half was booing. And then they just caught on and it was crazy. They loved it. And they'd put up, when we walked out, we saw on the notice board, somebody had said fantastic. And it's like, what a great play and congrats and all that. And they'd given me an award or something and all that. And we walked back. We had to go back on the bike. It's a 5-kilometer walk. But we said, let's walk. It was late at night. It was around 9, 10, 11 or something, which is late for Tamil Nadu, Chennai. And we walked back, and then I was going on a bike and I had an accident that day. Like,
this is that same leg injury?
Yeah, I had this accident, and it was a bad accident, very complicated. And they took me to the hospital and they wanted to amputate my leg. It was that bad because I just had, like, if I'd had a cut, maybe the blood would have come out. Because there's no cut, my bones had broken. So there was a hematoma inside, my big leg became this thick and the pulse stopped. So there's no pulse. So you'll get gangrene. I still have gangrene, like superficial, whatever. So they didn't know what to do in the government hospital. They said, let's amputate his leg or he's going to die. But my mother was there and she said, no. In those days, if you had an accident, it's a police case. So you had to take the person to a government hospital, and they're not equipped. And they had to shift me to another hospital because they didn't have equipment to cut my leg. It was like that. I'm sorry, this all sounds very gory.
It's perfectly fine.
Then my mother said, we took me to a private hospital, and then they did some magic. They released the blood and I got my pulse back. I still had gangrene and I was in bed for 3 years. 3 years. I had 23 surgeries. I was in bed. I had an infection, and then 1 year on crutches. I didn't walk for 4 years. And this was last year of college. I had pins and it was crazy. And the doctor said, he can't walk. He won't walk anymore. And my mother was like, she was devastated. She said, what are you saying? What are you saying? He can't walk. He said, no, he can't walk. I mean, be happy. He's got his leg. And then my mother said, doctor, what is the use of having his leg if he can't walk? No, we're going to cut it right here. And that was how it was. But in my mind, I wanted to be an actor so badly. I said, no, I will walk. I won't just walk, I'll run. So I used to go swimming. I'll have my crutches, and I worked at it. And then it became one crutch. Then I used to have just one walking stick, and I couldn't even walk. And the thing is, I couldn't bend my leg because this operation was done after 5 months, So by then my knee had stiffened. I couldn't walk and blah, blah. And how do you do that? How do you act in a movie if you can't bend your leg? Like, I had gone through all that, but I had decided that I'm going to walk, I'm going to act. And there was no chance of me, let alone becoming an actor. I was not going to walk. Even if I'd walked, how will I become an actor? But I did that. And then I got into movies. Somehow I got into a film, and I did a serial. Then I did a movie and another movie. And none of my movies were hits. Like the maximum audience was always only 20, 25 people. It was like that. And that was for 10 years. I had this long struggle before Sedu happened, Tere Naam. And then, so that whole period, it was like, the doctor who saw me after 5 years, he looked at me and said, "Hey, you're walking. You're not supposed to walk." And, he was shocked. Like, it was like, so, which is why I'm so, everything, I relish every character, every frame and every movie of mine, because I think of everything as a blessing. Like, for somebody who could not walk. And it's not like I had a bad accident, I was going to walk eventually. I was not supposed to walk. So even now I can't bend more than this. But I decided, like in management, they say, make your weakness your strength. So I said, no, I'll be a fighter. I fight very well. I mean, you've seen my films. Dancing, possible, but fighting, I can really fight well. And there are some times, like when you have to, like Tamil weddings, you squat. I can't squat. So you talk to directors and those are the only times. And I have this thing, and even now I have a lot of problems, but for me, it just keeps going because I need to do this. And he met me, let me say, almost 15 years back or 20 years. He actually met me that, 5 years after my thing. And then he said, "Wow, fantastic." And he took the x-rays and he saw it and he said, "Whoa, I think you should, don't run, don't climb steps, don't jump, don't do this, don't do that." I said, "Doctor, but I'm an actor. That's all I do." He said, no. Then he said, "Acha, okay, you try, but be careful." Then after 2-3 years, when I went back and my wife said, "Doctor, he's not listening. Doctor, I don't know why he's doing this." Doctor again saw the x-ray and he said, "I don't know, there's something, I don't know how it's working for you, but let him just do it, right? Let him, I mean, that's his life. Let him blah, blah." So at that time, he told me, like, your knee is like a 76-year-old man's knee. It's totally gone. How do you do it? But I'm saying, my dream was to be that actor, and I'm going to do it. Like my wife met me the first time. Like, she asked me, like, the first time she's met me, I was on crutches. And she just said, "What do you do?" I said, "What do you do?" She said, "I'm doing MPhil in psychology. I'm going to do my doctorate." "What do you do?" I said, "Nothing now, but I'm going to become a big actor." And she told me later, much later, like 2-3 years later, "I thought you had delusions of grandeur, because I know you can't walk. My friends have told me you're never going to walk again. You can't walk, but you wanted to be an actor, not just an actor." I said, "I'm going to be a star. I will be that." And I'll never think I'm going to become an actor. I'll say I'm becoming an actor. I used to write, like Sri Ramajayam, do you all have it here? There's something called Sri Ramajayam where you write in books, like
manifest.
Yeah, but not necessarily. It's a slogan. Like, it's like a religious thing in the South where you write Sri Ramajayam. It's about Ram. So Sri Ramajayam. You keep writing it. Like that, in my books, I will write, "I'm becoming this. I am this. I am this. I am this." I used to do that. I used to only manifest. I'd read this book where this guy says, just think about it. Think about the producers who are going to line up. Think about the directors. Always it was, I'm going to become this. And I just willed it, and it had to happen. I imagine all the directors I thought of, all the producers I wanted to work with, they all eventually worked with me. But it's always been a struggle for me. Even today, it's a struggle for me. Like, it's a struggle. But I don't know why it happens that way. But I'll never give up. Like, and everybody asks me, I'll tell it's my blood group. I'm B positive, so I like.
There's a lot of tangents here, sir.
Yeah, it's.
I might take you on a tangent which you may not enjoy, but it's for the sake of this video, which is going to be on the internet for the next 50 years.
Of course.
Are you comfortable talking about the night of the accident?
Yeah, sure.
Can you explain in detail what happened exactly and what you remember from your eyes?
See, we were going on the bike, and the funny thing was, I was not supposed to be on the bike. I was supposed to be in the car. We don't have bikes and cars, and I mean, very few guys had. So there was this boy who was supposed to go on the bike, and then he said, Pillion, there was a girl he was in love with, and she was going in the car. So he said, "I'll go in the car, you go on the bike." So I got on the bike. And you know how guys are when they're on the bikes, and if they sense that you're scared, they'll do stuff. They'll, start doing funny things. So this guy will do it once in a while. I say, "Hey, be careful." And what happened is, he was just, because the middle of the night, he took his legs and put it on the crash guard, and he was doing that. And there was a shoe tied up, and I was doing something, and I looked up, and there was a lorry almost on us, a truck with buffaloes. And this guy had his legs on the crash guard, so he couldn't brake. So what he did, very playfully accelerated and tried going past, and the lorry hit me and it broke. My thighs, like it broke in two places. It broke here also, and I suddenly looked down and, am I being too graphic?
No, please.
I look down and I see two knees and there's no pain. I just think, I think it just like I was thinking, what the hell? I have two knees, and then by then people came running and they tried to lift my leg, and that's when it hit me. And then they took me to hospital, and then it started.
Do you remember the moment of impact?
I remember. I mean, I flew and this guy was just sitting there. Nothing happened to him or the bike. The headlight went on, but I took it on my knee, and I flew quite a distance, and then I remember the hospital. It was very weird because my legs had puffed up like this. It was so big, and they were cutting my pant, and I was telling, be careful, yeah, that's very expensive, or some nonsense I was saying. And then I remembered they were taking me in the lift, and there was this very dirty compound. I still remember he was wearing khaki shorts and khaki shirt, which was filthy. One very scruffy guy was just standing there, very sullen, and he was going down the lift, and I was alone in the lift with him. And I actually asked him, Anna, can I hold your hand? Because I was scared, And it was like, it was like a very weird moment because I felt I needed some kind of comfort. I needed some support, and I felt so lost. It was like, it was that kind of a night. It was very scary. It was like...
Was this probably one of the most important nights of your life?
Yeah, it molded who I am. Like, it's to become who I am, what I wanted to be. Like, my mother is a very strong person, and she's always told me, like, whatever, like if I tell her I want to meet Narendra Modi ji, and she'll say, yeah, why not? She'll never think I can't do it, and she'll try to make it happen. So that's always been in me, like I've always wanted to be. I'm very positive. I'll work at something. But this taught me that, like, the way I went, I don't think I would have been very good at a desk job. I worked in Lintas as a copy. When I had crutches, I tried to go learn computer thing. I studied, that time it was COBOL and database or what I did. And I did all that. And then after that, I went and worked in Lintas as a copywriter. I was trying to do something, get into a creative field. I couldn't sit at a job and do anything. I mean, sit at a desk and thing. So it was like that. And I tried to do, I did business administration for some time. I went and learned something somewhere. I couldn't finish that. I was in between jobs. I didn't know what to do, but I wanted to be an actor. That was all that, was, getting hold of me. And I guess I don't know what I would have become if I hadn't become an actor, but I don't know. I would be something in cinema, maybe even a lightman, maybe a photographer, maybe, an assistant director.
Was there ever a moment of self-pity in that phase?
Actually, never. Like, I was always positive. I watched Mayuri. You've seen Mayuri? Sudha, she's a dancer, and she has an accident. Her leg gets cut.
I know she is because she acted in Hindi TV shows.
Yeah. So that story is like, she's a dancer, then she has an accident, and then she'll come back with a false leg and she'll dance, and that's the story. And the same doctor who operated on her operated on me. So that's the first movie I watched. I said, if she can do it, I'll do it. And and I actually told my mother I can't bend my leg. You know how stupid I was. I told her I can't bend my leg, but how am I going to act? When to amputate my leg so I can, do, have, false leg, and maybe have this thing where I mean, I've never said this anywhere, but, and I was thinking, I can do a karate film, and then I can do this. And she said, are you stupid? And my mother almost whacked me. So I was like that, in that phase, I wanted to somehow become an actor, and it was very strange. My leg will be like this, and even if I had to go for movies, I had to sit like this. You can't, how will you sit in a theater? You can't put in your leg. So I used to, even in auto, I'll sit like that, and it was crazy. All of that, and that part, the fact that, shucks, I have to be an actor. What am I going to do? That thing was a very scary thought initially, but then I said, no, I won't let that. I'm going to walk. I'm going to run. I'm going to fly if I can, but I'm going to be an actor. I have to be an actor. And I was very stuck on that. I was obsessing on that.
Just for context here, all I want to say to you is, for an entire generation of non-Tamil Indians, you're the first Tamil star we came across.
Really?
Of course.
Wow.
For an entire, because Aparajit has been shown a lot on TV. So,
yes.
If you...
I know it was almost 400 times because I was in Z. It used to keep coming every week. It was there, and I've actually thanked them. I also called them and told them thank you so much.
So I'm sorry I'm bringing up Aparajit so much because
I understand.
It's a big reference point for especially the Hindi belt. You'd never watch Aparajit and think that this is his backstory.
Yeah.
When you're on the roof and everything.
Yeah.
with the cool
Yeah.
Remo
Yeah, and
vibe.
he jumps down and there's
You'd never think that this guy's leg was blasted once upon a time and
Yeah.
he's gone through what he's gone through.
yeah, of course.
Also, because you have a very happy aura. And I
Yeah,
think that that's what people are drawn to primarily about.
true.
Other than the obsession for character and all that,
Yeah.
you're a great guy.
Oh,
And
thank you.
that's
Thank you,
become
Ranveer.
public knowledge, sir. But what we're talking about, this being the most important night of your life.
Yeah, it's more. I guess what if that hadn't happened? Maybe I wouldn't have tried so hard. Think about it. Maybe I would have just tried and just let it go. But it was very defining for me.
If you enjoyed this clip from the Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.